All right, so Kleck can tell you a lot 3 years ago. 9/11 coming again, November 20th. He's going to show you, he's going to click on a, not only is it like November the 20th, 21st, close to it, but he's going to show you a folder that's up here that has 11/21/2016. And as he says it, he says that the missiles have been launched. And right before that, he's talking about Barack Obama here moved in, because he's playing the beast that's going to rise up from the pit, and he's claiming to be the beast that's rising up from the pit. So have you noticed that the decker at the White House has changed since Hussein Obama moved in? The Oval Office. So he's referencing, and I think you just gave it away, Kleck, completely. He's referencing the White House. He's talking about the money, showing the bombs, the future and the present, the bombs that have already passed and the future bombs. He's telling you in his most recent video, 3 years ago, he's making reference to the White House and to Obama moving in, and 11/21, which is the timing where, you know, once the 21 days of silencing happens, and then at the end of the 21 days, that's when Micheal stands up, because this happens. This happens. Everybody sees it happening on the day that it happens, that it's predicted that it happens. Yeah, I know I made a bunch of predictions, but you know what? I'm going to get one of them. That final one, the furthest date that I put out there, is in all likelihood the actual timeline of it. So it's replaced with Middle Eastern wallpaper. Now, Middle Eastern goodness is that sign that's right there. It's 16th and in between John F. Kennedy Boulevard and Market Street in Philadelphia, where that Fulton sign is. That store underneath of it is Middle Eastern goodness draped. The hallway that he walks out of to talk to the press now has Middle Eastern chairs draped, etc.
For drapes and decor. The hallway that he walks out of to talk to the press now has Middle Eastern chairs, drapes, etc. And the thing that has bothered me the most is that the bright yellow drape behind him every time he speaks from the White House. Here you go. Okay, you may say, what does that have to do with anything? Well, I'm going to close those windows.
We'll just wait
Let's
3 years
go ahead
later.
And remember, I showed you the Jaguar commercial that said we already created a beast, and now it's time for a whole new animal, with using the same potent DNA,
F4.
which is the pyramid, aka
F4.
Satan and his demons, and more
F5.
ruthlessly efficient, and then the car turns red, like ruthless bloodletting.
Fourth trumpet, fifth trumpet,
then
fourth,
they launch all
fifth.
the missiles, and I showed you in the last video that, wow, the missiles launching in that Jaguar commercial, which aka released the CAT, Combined Aerial Target Systems,
Released
and
the
oddly
CAT.
enough, you're all the missiles, and I showed you in the last video that bloodletting, and then they launch all the missiles, and I showed you in the last video that, wow, the missiles launching in that Jaguar commercial, which aka released the
There you
CAT,
go. 3
Combined
years
Aerial
later.
Target Systems. And oddly enough, here we have another Christmas commercial that's done by a group called Adam and Eve Temptations. Suggest you keep them busy, and they launched a new commercial called Temptation.
November 1st, 2016. Everything that they talked about is 3 years ahead of time. Launched a holiday campaign for cat treats. You keep your cats occupied, they won't mess with your stuff.
So I'm going to go through and play you a couple video clips from 2013 and 2016 to uphold everything I just told you. I'm going to use all the scriptures. I always come with the Word of God. That is my trademark. I come with the Word of God and the meaning of the Word of God. I'm going to peel off one of these shirts.
I don't.
On this shirt that I'm wearing underneath this.
Who cares? This is September 14th. 911. It's impossible to understand it with what Kleck's saying.
Naturally. Well, they did blame it on the Muslims.
Thanks for the leadway.
But it was actually printed on our currency way before the whole idea of blaming it on the Muslims. But this has been Satan's plan. Because the number 9/11, if you look in the Bible, is Revelation 9/11. They had a king over them, the angel of the bottomless pit.
And that's who he's claiming to be. As he asked who did this.
So what I did was I hit the button to save the video, and my program literally freaked out. Never seen it happen before. I almost felt like my computer is being monitored. There was one video that got the FBI to show up at my house, and that was called The Destruction of America, where I was able to show everybody that all the bombings in the United States that have occurred, the Twin Tower bombing, the Pentagon bombing, the federal building bombing in Oklahoma City, as well as future bombings.
Future bombings. So the FBI is going to come to my house because I'm telling them where the bombings began, where they're at currently, and where they're going to be in the future. The future bombings is printed on the back of the dollar bills. They're printed on the back of them. And on the back of this 20 that shows the Twin Towers collapsing, which represents the first 9/11 and the second 9/11, as well as the two collapsing. It's always multiple meanings in one. The more meanings they can get in one sentence, the better they feel like how smart they are. So when you can take the $20 bill that has the White House printed on the back of it, and you can make it look like two of the towers are collapsing because the airplane hit both of them with this picture here. When you can make it look like that on the $20 bill, and then at the same time foreshadow how the missiles are coming, 11/21/2016, but just add 3 years. Everything's greater than 3 years. You add the 3 years, then on that specific date, which it's looking more like it's November 21st, 2019, after 21 days of the truth being shut down. This, the second 9/11 represents these two towers, which is the first 9/11 and the second 9/11, because building 1 and building 2 represents the first 9/11 and second 9/11 that fell. And then building 7 is representing the 7th year. And then we're just missing a building 8. And there is a building 8 that's right there at 17th and John F. Kennedy Boulevard that matches. It's 800 suite, 800 feet for Johnathan Kleck to get to Corpus Christi Road there. Let's see, Corpus Christi after the roundup. He's there. 800 feet until Old Corpus Christi Road. Crossing over Corpus Christi.
Yeah, that's why they do their little things on 9/11. Okay, so now let's close that out. I've shown you that on U.S. currency. Let's see. Images. Here we go. See there? All I got to do is do a Google search. There's the Twin Towers printed on U.S. currency. See Bart holding the U.S. currency? Okay, so, this is a fact. This isn't, my idea. But the Lord gave me the key, the biblical knowledge to, this is a fact. This isn't, my idea. But the Lord gave me the key, the biblical knowledge to understand it, because when you make a pentagram and you turn the pentagram upside down, that's when you can see what their plans are. You got to turn things upside down to see.
Can anybody not see? Like, seriously, can you not see what his plan is? Can you just not tell? Like, I understand you can't prove anything per se, like with solid concrete evidence, but man, when you build up the circumstantial evidence, it's undeniable. It's like unremarkable. You can't even make a remark to it. So instead of turning things upside down, what I do is I just slow things down. And when I slow things down, you can catch on to their hidden messages. So listen to how after he says it's not my idea, then when it says who did this, he circles his little thing around there. The circle, circle, circle.
Okay, so, this is a fact. This isn't, my idea. But the Lord gave me the key, this isn't, my idea. But the Lord gave me the key, the biblical knowledge.
That was called the destruction of America, where I was able to show everybody that all the bombings in the United States that have occurred, the Twin Tower bombing, the Pentagon bombing, the federal building bombing in Oklahoma City, as well as future bombings.
Press conference was known about nearly a week before it occurred. Look at this picture. So there's Obama standing in front of, by the way, it's got a big alien face all over it.
Which means the aliens are, the aliens. He's referring to the aliens too. This is all 11/21/2019.
See it, it's real obvious. And it's Islamic, sure. And people will argue, oh no, that's been there through other administrations, au contraire, in different locations in the White House. This is Obama's deal right here.
White House. All right, now pay attention to how he says World Trade Center 3. And then he'll say it perfectly fine. Well, I'll let you listen to how he says it perfectly, acting like it's not normal. I mean, acting like he made a mistake. And then I'll let you listen to how he says it the way it is.
Let me show you something really interesting. But, we were just watching all that 9/11 stuff. So let's look at this picture. This
Remember, is 3 years later.
This is an overview, of an
3
aerial
years later
view of what the World Trade Center would look like if you had it, drawn out and you're looking from above. Let me show you what it looks like. You have World Trade Center number 2 right here, World Trade Center number 1 right here. So those are the Twin Towers right there. Right there are the Twin Towers. You see this red circle right here is St. Nicholas Orthodox Church. St. Nicholas.
Is who he's saying he is.
WTC1, WTC2. And look, WTC7. Remember, World Trade Center 7, that WTC1, WTC2. And look, WTC3. 7. Remember? Now, those who hide their plans, they turn everything upside down. I told you, let's look at the grounds where all this happened. There's World Trade Center 2, World Trade Center 1. Look real close right here. St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church. St. Nicholas. Here's World Trade Center 7. Let's watch a cat commercial again real quick.
Oh, cat.
Let's watch a cat commercial again real quick. An overview, of an aerial view of what the World Trade Center would look like if you had...
See, right there, he knows he's going to say World Trade Center 3. I can literally hear him thinking that as he's stuttering his words.
Drawn out and you're looking from above. Let me show you what it looks like. You have World Trade Center number 2 right here, World Trade Center number 1 right here. So those are the Twin Towers right there. Right there are the Twin Towers. You see this red circle right here is St. Nicholas Orthodox Church. St. Nicholas. WTC1, WTC2. And look, WTC7. Remember World Trade Center 7, that while the girl was talking...
It's 3 years.
On the microphone. Let's just look it up together. Let's just
3
have
years.
a little fun.
Greater than 3.
Once you really bust them, once they are so freaking busted, it doesn't matter anymore. Let's just have some fun with it.
Yeah, okay? Let's do that.
Let's just fun, man. This is the way I have fun. Let's bust their freaking ass. Yeah, let's do it. Let's bust them. Let's see. So, we already created a beast, and now it's time for a whole new animal, more with using the same potent DNA, which is the pyramid, aka Satan and his demons, and more ruthlessly efficient, and then the card turns red, like ruthless bloodletting. And then they launch all the missiles, and I showed you in the last video that, wow, the missiles launching in that Jaguar commercial,
there it
which
is.
AKA released the CATS, Combined Aerial Target System.
Oh, I'm going to stick with my final prediction. It's the furthest date out. It's November 21st is going to be the second 9/11. That's when the missiles are going to start to come across the sky that he drew. It's his drawings up in the sky. And we're going to see them, and whatever it hits, there's going to be bombs set up. Because he shows you that, well, what did you say, Kleck?
Where I was able to show everybody that all the bombings in the United States that have occurred, the Twin Tower bombing, the Pentagon bombing, the federal building bombing in Oklahoma
The White House future bombing,
as well as future bombings, are printed on U.S. currency notes, which are made by the Federal Reserve.
By you.
A.K.A. the Rockefellers
AKA
and the Rothschilds.
Johnathan Rockefeller.
What I'm going to show you tonight is so profound, it's so over the top, it's so mind-blowing. You will understand
blowing.
Satan's long-term plan.
Satan has a long-term plan.
From the beginning of the world all the way to the end.
Which is coming up real soon. And as he puts his quote fingers up, he's letting you know the second 9/11.
Bloodletting. And then they launch all the missiles. And I showed you in the last video that, wow, the missiles launching in that Jaguar commercial, which AKA released the CATS, that Jaguar commercial, which AKA released the CATS, which AKA released.
You know, he tries to sound like he's AKA. He's always trying to sound like he's making a mistake when he's talking. And again, it's their tactic. That's how they talk. They pretend that they made a mistake of what they said, but they absolutely meant to say it. He's pointing up the second, which is the second 9/11 right here. 3 years later, greater than 3.
That's El, the Almighty God, 410, access, Corpus Christi, the body of Christ.
3.
You can't even think this
That's
stuff
years.
up. That's insane.
No, you can't think this stuff up. Not at all. 215. I don't know. 1.7. I don't know, but 3 years. '30th. 31st. 1st, 2nd, 3rd. November 3rd. Now here's what happens after when 11/3 comes by. Stay down until 11/3. Then it's the harvest. And the movie.
4, 3, 2, 1 on the doors. And then the gates open into the harvest. In the movie. It was on the TV.
The movie. The movie begins. The harvest is the roundup from 11/3, starting 11/3. But the shutting down of YouTube starts, Wednesday. There I am, being charged with, who knows, terrorist attack. You see, the harvest in his mind is separating the wheat from the tares. He knows that we're the wheat. He's trying to separate us from his tares. But, you know, the exact opposite is actually happening in the end. This is God's way of getting them to separate us from them. Because they know who we are. 11:53 p.m. They know that we're the wheat, so they want to get rid of us. But that's the way that God gets them back, because they're searching us out, which in return, they absolutely know who their people are, the ones that stay. So that's the way that the true harvest begins. So the world's going to know that the ones behind all the scenes, once everything transfers, the shift, once everybody steps up and just does their part, that's all that anybody has to do, is just step up and do your part, and it'll work out in the end. So once that happens, that's the true harvest. But come 11:3, it's the beginning of the movie. He just said it was the beginning of the movie. On the TV.
And then the gates open into the harvest in the movie. It was on the TV.
Yeah, the movie. I mean, oh yeah, that's right. There was a TV somewhere. It's too easy now. The gig is up, Johnny. It ain't gonna last. But you're gonna keep going no matter what. I understand. So I'll be in jail because of... I'll be sitting in jail because of the second 9/11. The second 9/11. So what he wants to show you here is 9/11 and the second 9/11. When 9/11 doesn't happen in October, then you know that this didn't matter. When 9/11 doesn't happen on Wednesday, but it happens on 11/21 when the missiles hit, then you know that this is why he put it here, just to show you the second 9/11. He could have done November 2nd, but he's giving you this information ahead of time. And then when that happens, well, he truly does rise from the dead. But the truth is, the truth actually rises from the dead. He'll see how that works after his plan is over.
I cleared all the trees, and I made this road nice and clear so we could pour the cement. Remember that. I'm saying it like that for a reason. Because when I drop the bomb on you, I want you to go, what? Yeah.
To pour the cement. Keep in mind that he said by the end of the month he'll have everything finished. Him, Kleck. And so to pour the concrete is referring to pouring out his spirit on to the solid foundation of as to what he is creating, which is a new foundation. So what's being poured out is foul spirits with the new foundation. However, it doesn't work that way. And on top of that, remember Stephen James? Remember he said that by the end of October 31st, he's going to have all the concrete poured. It's only 3 days away. It's like the 30th when he comes back, the 8th day, and starts striking people down to the 4-3-2-1 ordeal. And then once it's completely shut down, 11-3, then that's the harvest, right? And then that's the movie as well. So we're possibly going to see like 4 events back to back, and then it's time. But it might just be like 4, 3, 2, 1, where it's time to start shutting all the truth down on YouTube. It's time for people to start getting strikes back to back to back to back. And then the concrete can be laid down. But you got to remember there's that one tree decided to fall over 15 minutes before the concrete truck got there. So, I mean, with the second 9/11, with a building getting hit at like 8:48 a.m. and then at 9:03 a.m. would be 15 minutes apart.
And I open it up, it says, Dear Johnathan, I know you're swamped with mail and can't expect you to remember all those who correspond with you. I'm the Bard guy who just sat back and watched supernatural unfolding and more and yet more to come, I'm sure.
Again.
Wanted to share.
Stutter step. I'm the guy, the barn guy, who just sat back and watched this supernatural movie on the TV screen starting 11/3/19, November 3rd, 2019, unfolding, and yet more to come, I'm sure. He wanted to share it. Thank you.
And thank you, brother. Peace and grace. Unfolding and more and yet more to come. Unfolding and more and yet more to come, I'm sure. Out his address, says do not bin, and then look what was inside of it. There's all these pictures, and all the pictures had a little sticky note on them. And so, I was freaking out driving to the post office like, I hope I got this thing right. And that's what I pulled out of my P.O. box. You want to see what's in the... Watch this. Okay, so these are the pictures in order, more or less. So
there's the chopped off penis head.
I think this one was first. It said, here, let's open this one first. It said, 15 minutes before the cement truck came, this tree decided to fall over. And I'm thinking,
well, 8:48 a.m. to 9:03 a.m. is 15 minutes. When one of them is hit, and then the second one is hit 15 minutes later, or it's the concrete being poured by the end of October, 15 minutes beforehand, the first tower decides to fall over, but it could be 15 days. 15 days because November 14th is the 75th day, I-75, Home Depot 75. It is 75. 15 days before that is October 30th, which is Wednesday, which is when I expect him to rise up and us to fall. So 15 minutes, it's like that could be the other connection where the first tower shuts down, which is us. I said there's 2 towers that get shut down. And then the second one, when the cement truck backs up, he's letting you know on the 14th, which is the 75th day, that, well, the first tower fell over, and then the second one falls over. And then there's a 7-day period from that point on where you can say, for yet the flood is coming in 7 days. And the flood, which would be on November 21st, we would be flooded with missiles. And the second 9/11 happening. And then it just all hell, breaks loose. And then it would be 3 whole weeks till 12/12, which is when that's Steve's sign. Both of the Steves, they've used that 12/12 sign. Fits pretty perfect in the Fitz-James family.
I had all these trees I had to clear out of the way,
which is us,
for the cement truck to get back there,
which is his people, because he's pouring out their spirit on them, the Antichrist spirit.
That's really weird.
It is.
And what did I pray on the way down to the post office?
That was number 1.
Lord, I please please show me I got this right with the framing. And did I pray on the way down to the post office? Lord,
and he tries to slip that by within a split second. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it's the movie. All right, so it's lining up even better now because the movie starts on the TV screen. Once 4, 3, 2, 1 hits, 11:3, where you're supposed to stay down till 3:11. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4 lands on October 30th in the midst of the week, where he's going to cause the prayers and the oblation to cease because he's going to, he's going to take over. He's taking over YouTube. That's what he's supposed to do. For this 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown. And then, see, when he rises up, then that's it. This is it. Once he rises up, the 30th, Wednesday, that's it. Then it's 4, 3, 2, 1 until that movie is being played. So we stay down, till 11:3, 3:11. And then, that can be that 21-day period from there on to the 24th, 11/24, which would be the end of it. That's possible. Or the 9/11 can happen on Wednesday when he rises back up. And then it's the 21 days. But maybe it's the first tower shut down. Then it's 21 days from that point on when the towers are shut down. 21 full days. Well, 3 whole weeks, actually, because 3 whole weeks is 21 full days. So starting on October 30th, you go 3 full weeks. That does land on November, morning, November 20th, 21st, which is the, if that's the 9/11 then, which I'm sticking with, then that's when God's people will be delivered. From that point on. Because the ones that have heard about it, you're going to see it, you're going to believe it, and then you're going to understand who he is, and that I'm just here to expose him and give the rightful owner the, everybody who has been suppressed, which is all of us, from our land that we are entitled to, we all get that freedom back. So that's what I'm trying to bring, and I will bring it to people, which is our own land back, because this guy here is going down with all the lies, all Hollywood, everything. This is how it all ends.